This whole time, you really thought carrots were food? Wow, I'm almost envious of your ignorance. What's next? Thinking the Earth is a globe? I don't mean to be rude, I'm not trying to giggle at your naivete, but come on. Carrots? Food? Imagine. What is this, the Magic Treehouse or something? It's ridiculous. Yeah, you know that thing Bugs Bunny's eaten in the cartoons for like 100 years? The beloved orange carrot, as it's so called? Not real. Make-believe. Fake. What it actually is birth control. And luckily, we have a highly intellectual mind that's bringing us back to common sense when it comes to this poisonous menace. Carrots.
A lot of these plants we eat, like carrot, people think are food. They're not food. The orange carrot was created at the turn of the 18th century, and we act like they've been around since the turn of time.
So this lady who looks like a Viking that was ordered from Temu after she slaughtered 15 squirrels and stitched their pelts together to make this jacket is educating us all on the history of carrots and trying to open our third eye to the fact that carrots are not food.
This is a wild carrot, also known as Queen Anne's lace. They're far from the sweet and tender carrots we're used to. Through selective breeding practices that began in the 18th century, agronomists transformed these wild roots into the big orange carrots we see today.
Carrots lore so deep it's got League of Legends writers sweating. I appreciate the historical breakdown on the genesis of carrots. And now let's see where she goes with this. Now we know where they came from. Well, what's the point she's making?
What most people don't know is that Queen Anne's lace, the root itself, was used as the morning after pill. It is so toxic, it will abort a fetus. And yes, it's not as toxic now that we've bred the poison out of them, but this is the root, and we're feeding them to our fucking kids.
Oh, zoinks. Gotta be honest with you, crazy lady, I think you've been boofing a little too much Queen Anne's lace. As you just said, through many years of breeding, they got the poison out. So now, the modern carrot is not the same thing as Queen Anne's lace. They're very different. You can't bite down on a carrot and expect it to abort a fetus. Also, from what I read, Queen Anne's lace can't do that either. It was used as a contraceptive. From everything I've read, it couldn't do a fucking abortion. But maybe if you, like, mega dosed it, like if you set that Wumbo serving size up, maybe it could then. I don't really know. But what is 100% irrefutable, as she even admits, modern carrots don't have that poison. So what are you mad about? What is the argument you're making?
It's gotta stop. I don't want to see babies eating herbs that are able to abort a fetus. That is what Queen Anne's lace looks like. And this is what we've created today. This is the clown food. Do you guys see it? You see how it looks like it should be in a circus?
Goofball, you need to be in a circus. What? Like, this isn't even like a good point you're making. You already admitted that it is not poisonous anymore. So it was derived from something that was used as a contraceptive, but it isn't that anymore. You're not feeding babies a contraceptive. You've already established that that's not the case. It's like getting mad at toilet paper because it came from trees at one point. Like, it's separate things now. The modern carrot is not the same thing as Queen Anne's lace. You know that. You've already said as much, and yet you're still getting mad at, like, this imaginary villain you're creating about carrots. What the fuck is happening here?
And once you know this, you can't unknow it.
You challenging me with that? I'll unknow it right now. I'll erase it from my memories databanks. I've now entirely forgotten it. Checkmate. Fucking idiot.
Plants were always toxic to us. Meat never was. This is a list of meat that is deadly toxic to humans. Polar bear liver, because it's high in vitamin A.
Her whole personality is meat, 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 meat. She's like a real-life Luffy, but not cool at all. So she's waging war on plants. Plants have always been mean. They've been real jerks to us. There's poisonous plants out there. Can you believe it? No shit! Like, what the fuck? Obviously, there's going to be plants out there that are poisonous. You don't eat them. And she's making this huge hoopla about nothing. It'd be like getting mad at meat because it can get stuck in someone's throat. Like, you're just fighting against something that is completely nonsensical. Now, I've only taken a brief perusal through her shorts, but her whole shtick seems to be carnivore diet is the optimal way of living. She used her son as like a punching bag for a little bit. Like, here's my son before he switched to a carnivore diet. Man, not good. Protein deficient, flat chested, horrible, horrible. Now look at him, now that he eats nothing but meat and he's jacked. And then she's like, look at me, when I was eating more than just meat, and now look at me, and I'm in better shape. So her whole thing is like, meat every day, all the time, just constantly indulging in meat. Fuck plants, fuck anything that's not meat. That's her whole thing. And I know carnivore diets have blown up in popularity recently, but it's become like a full-blown religious movement. I don't care if you're on the carnivore diet, go for it. A lot of people see a lot of good benefits from it. But her seminars have me giggling with the way she tries to encourage people to get it, and the way that she's like talking about plants as if she's some kind of, you know, being that achieved nirvana by seeing the truth of plants. It's very silly. I also have seen her taking shots at like vegans, for, like at least a little bit, and she kind of just does the same thing but for meat. Like it's her whole personality. It's all she talks about is being a carnivore, the primal body. So like it's pretty silly when she's like, oh, those fucking vegans and fruitarians. Meanwhile, she is just that same archetype, but for the carnivore diet.
Too much vitamin A will kill us. Raw shark, because it's high in urea. We've got the pufferfish, it's a neurotoxin, and the Nemora jellyfish. I don't think humans spent much time trying to hunt those guys. These are the only meats that are toxic to us. We can eat anything else. You want a lizard? Go for it. You want a chipmunk? Go for it. You can eat any kind of thing that moves.
Yeah, sure, you can to a certain extent if you know what you're doing. Different meats have to be prepared in different ways. You couldn't just go out there and just start eating any fucking meat that you find. The same way you can't go out there and just eat any plant that you find either. It's a complete moot point. The meats you're going to be eating are the meats that you're going to the store and getting. She does not look like someone who's going out there hunting and gathering, no matter how much her hairstyle tries to convince you otherwise. She is probably going out there and just buying meat from the supermarket. And guess what? A lot of that meat is also modified the same way the plant food she hates so much is. When you're buying meat from the store, a lot of times you're getting meat that is pumped full of antibiotics, growth hormone, all kinds of things that lead to it being modified, albeit in a different way, but it's not like it's some drastic difference between meat and plant food in terms of like what's real food.
But plants, more than 700 species of plants in the United States and Canada alone are deadly toxic.
Oh no! I had no idea! Wow! That's a powerful mic drop right there. 700 plants are toxic? Who would have thought, you know? Just when you thought it was safe to go outside. All these plants jumping in your mouth, forcing you to eat them. Goodness gracious. Heavens to Betsy. She's making a mountain out of a molehill. You know what else is real bad for you? If you get a piece of a bone stuck in your throat and it fucking cuts up your esophagus, or, you know, you choke to death on it. Oh no! Should we be afraid of meat too because of the bone? Like, I'm not her dad. She can have whatever diet she wants. If she wants to eat nothing but raw pork testicles forever, all power to her. It's just her little seminar she gives on carrots being fake clown food, birth control, and plants are toxic. Like, the only thing not toxic is meat. That's the only thing you can trust. It's just so silly. I had to just talk about it a little bit. Matt sent me to this earlier, and we were just goofing around about it, so I just wanted to talk on it. That's it. See ya. Stand back, I'm being brave. Stalkers are bad. Just deranged individuals, absolute sick weirdos. And I just learned about a new stalker I didn't know existed until Matt sent me this video where he went to court and immediately just proclaimed he's guilty as charged. It's Caitlin Clark's stalker. And this guy looks like he was biologically engineered to end up as a lunatic stalker. He looks exactly like what you imagine, like that caricature you make in your head, of an obsessed loser.
Morning, Mr. Lewis.
Guilty as
No, sir. This is initial hearing.
Oh.
We are not. You have a right to remain silent, and I expect you to exercise that. Okay, this is just telling you what the charges are. You do not listen. I'll give you a chance to talk. It's not your time.
Throw me the bookie.
Stop talking.
Buddy really thought this was going to be like his Joker moment. I bet he thought that line went really hard. Or maybe he really does recognize that the world is a better place with him locked away, because he is begging the judge to just throw the book at him. But he stares right down the pipe on the camera, so I'm guessing he wanted to make like a famous moment for himself out of all of this. He looks like Charles Manson if he had a Funko Pop addiction.
Charging documents lay out how prosecutors say a man, quote, terrorized, frightened, and intimidated one of the country's most popular athletes. Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark. Michael Lewis faces a felony stalking charge after allegedly traveling to Indianapolis to be near her.
Now, Mr. Looney Lewis was sending threatening and sexual messages to Caitlin Clark on Twitter, mainly. And the messages, or at least some of them, are still there. Like, some of the tweets are still there. It's a ton. He very much was infatuated with her, obsessed, and even traveled to Indianapolis to be close to her. Very dangerous, unhinged shit. His most recent messages are kind of nonsensical gibberish, though I can make out the first one there, which is, "You buyin'?" Very much sounds like the Resident Evil 4 weapons merchant. But the one after that, "You be coffalogopus, okay?" Don't know what the fuck that is. He must have just flopped his meat on the keyboard and just hit enter. That is actual nothingness. And then as you continue to scroll through his tweets, they become a little more lucid, and they are almost always directed at Caitlin Clark, directly to her, except for these two right there, where I guess he was arguing with someone. And then it's right back onto his life's mission of being in this imaginary relationship with Caitlin Clark. This is the people you're arguing with on Twitter, by the way. Assuming they're not just bots, which a lot of the platform is. The actual flesh, blood, and cringe that are just constantly fighting on Twitter like professional tweeters. This is what they look like in real life, by the way. Anyway, though, if you just scroll through his fucking Twitter, it's nothing but him talking about being with Caitlin Clark. He also has this fixation on making out. He constantly mentions, "You want to make out with me? When are we making out? Hey, let's start making out." He speaks as though the only thing he's ever watched in his life is Degrassi, and now he's under the impression that that's how people talk to one another. It's so odd. It's so weird. It just goes on and on and on. Like, these are all from the same day. Do you even like to make out? And the one before that is, once again, no spaces. Your puss needs a real good pounding. You're not into like, it's just, it's absolute insanity. He is very clearly a textbook definition of a dangerous stalker. He even went to her area to be near her. And I'm absolutely shocked that the authorities did something. They don't usually take stalking super seriously, but in this case, he's getting charged. They apprehended him, and it looks like they are going to throw the bookie at him, as he said, which I think is great. They may have just saved her life, because these kind of people, they snap. We've seen this shit happen tons and tons of times. And how many stories have we, like on the channel, gone over where stalkers weren't taken seriously and then something really bad happened, and then all of a sudden the most preventable tragedy ever unfolds. So I'm happy to see they're actually doing something about this.
Police say he admitted it is a, quote, imaginary relationship, with dozens of posts on X directly tagging Clark, including a number of threatening and sexually explicit messages, according to prosecutors, even posting after an initial encounter with police. An attorney for Lewis hasn't been listed online.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. Usually I'm wrong, but in this case, I feel very confident. I think he's going to represent himself. I'm very certain of it. I think he's going to waive his right to an attorney and say, fuck it, we'll do it live, and he's going to do it himself. That's my prediction. We'll see how it unfolds, but I just wanted to lock that one in, so if it happens, I look like a goddamn prophet for it. Now, even outside of that short video clip, it doesn't seem the rest of the proceeding was a slam dunk for him. It was clear from just that short 30 seconds the judge was already really fed up with that behavior, but he continued to have other outbursts. He even contradicted himself, claiming that the prosecutors got the wrong guy because they didn't attach Junior to his name. Overall, he just wasn't treating it very seriously, even though he could face up to like 6 years in jail from what I was reading. But he just doesn't seem to give a fuck. So he's from Texas, and apparently lives in his vehicle, drove it to Indianapolis, and was arrested at a hotel in Indianapolis after posting the messages and saying things like, getting tickets, I'm sitting behind the bench. And then he even makes this tweet here, which references that they are actively coming for him. They said I was sending threatening texts, but the only thought on my mind was, Caitlin, caps lock. Interestingly enough, I went to the first tweet from Michael Lewis, and it's from January 7th. So he hasn't really been doing this for all that long, but every single tweet since January 7th, all 887 of them, pretty much, are directed to Caitlin Clark. So his first one, no greater love than to lay down your life, ... So he's a relatively new stalker. He's still in his rookie season here. He's been doing it for about 2 weeks, and it was so egregious that authorities are actually acting on it, which is a good thing. I also think there's a chance that this isn't his first time stalking. After going through so many of his tweets, I feel like he's probably done this to others, but not on this account. I feel like he probably makes accounts like this. The name of this account is RacerX2031. That's an Xbox Live generated gamertag, basically. That's fucking nothing. So I bet he probably makes specific accounts for the sole purpose of stalking individuals, and this one was for Caitlin Clark, his most recent obsession. But I just get the feeling he's definitely done this in the past, too. That's just a hunch, though. Either way, really good news that he has been taken in by authorities. Fucking weirdo stalker. That's really about it. So yeah. A few nights ago on stream, I watched a little bit of a video called I Got Divorced Over Yu-Gi-Oh! And I went into it, you know, like lollipop and spinny hat, thinking it was going to be like good, silly fun. Like I thought it was like an exaggeratory title where he was telling a story about how his wife walked in like Seto Kaiba and ripped his blue eyes, and then he said, "Enough is enough. We'll play a shadow game to decide the fate of our marriage," and then they divorced or something. But the reality is, it's a very honest and open look at an unhealthy relationship, and it's one that I went back and finished the video for and have been thinking about since. So in a nutshell, this guy had a YouTube channel that was dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was actually paying his bills through the content he was making. So it's not like this was a hobby that was destructive to him. You know, he wasn't going out on the streets and selling his butt for Yu-Gi-Oh! Briefcases of cards. Like, he was making a living through Yu-Gi-Oh! And his YouTube channel, but his wife didn't really like it. She didn't have any respect for it, and it basically boiled down to he married like his #1 hater. And she eventually wore him down enough to the point where he did abandon the hobby and his YouTube channel because she just thought it was kind of cringe, I guess. Like, I'm not saying in every healthy relationship your partner has to, you know, get into whatever hobby you're into, but at the very least, the bare minimum is being understanding and supportive of it. Like, I'm not saying she had to go out there and get a tier 0 deck or learn how to pendulum summon so she could start banishing assholes to the Shadow Realm, but maybe don't be constantly spitting and shitting on your husband for something that he's clearly passionate about and something that is actively making him money. I got divorced over Yu-Gi-Oh!
I need to say this. Let me just say it straight out the way. I am no longer married, and I'm divorced.
More time for Yu-Gi-Oh! You can grind. YCS pretty soon, I think. Can't remember when the next YCS is, but you got so much time now.
When I met this woman, and I told her about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, she hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you could do something better with your life. You should go back to school.
Alright, I hate that. Man, just let someone have hobbies. Like, who cares? It's not hurting anyone. Not hurting you. It's nerdy. Sure, who cares? It's a hobby. I bet she had stupid hobbies too. Everyone does.
I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. And you know what I did? I sold all my equipment. I sold my YouTube channel.
Whoa.
I sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life. Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I chose to do, YouTube, I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You got to do something better with your life.
There are times where someone's hobby is detrimental to them, whether it's financially draining or mentally draining. Like, that is a problem, and that's where you'd come in and say, like, hey, maybe it's time we look for something else, try a different path, and move on to something else. But that's not the case here. This guy had a channel, and his YouTube and Yu-Gi-Oh! Hobby were helping sustain him and pay bills. So her coming in there, fee-fi-fo-fumming around, marching up to him, saying, like, you gotta move on, makes no fucking sense. Like, that's so stupid. just basically saying it's time to grow up. You know, this is a children's card game. We don't do this as adults. It's time you be a real man, a real adult, and start doing crypto scams. Like, it's just silly.
And she's no longer here. And this problem persists. She told me at that time, hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere.
Chasing the dream.
Yes, YouTube is what I did for a living. It's how I paid my bills. And I was street performing also. How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home. I never needed a car. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do.
Why did she even come into your life then? It sounds like she didn't respect your hobbies. She didn't respect your drive, your passion, or anything. Why the fuck was she even here? Just to completely change you? That's sad. And there's definitely a limit too. Like, if you're obsessed with a hobby and it's actually a detriment on your life, which it doesn't sound like it was for him, then I can understand someone coming in and be like, all right, look, maybe we need to reevaluate this. You know, maybe, you know, collecting fucking, I don't know, jelly beans and putting all your money into antique jelly beans is, you know, taking its toll. Maybe we should look at other things so you can get out of the house. You can start, you know, finding something else. I get it. But it doesn't sound like it was to that point here. This is just sad. I imagine the channel was generating income. He just said he was paying his bills through YouTube and street performing. So he was making money. He was perfectly sustaining himself. At least that's the impression I get. She was probably embarrassed to tell her friends what he does for a living. Well, then don't be with him. If you're embarrassed of your significant other, why are you with them in the first place? That's on you if you don't respect them. Don't be with them. It's bad for both you and the partner. I feel like this probably happens a lot, although I've only seen it happen to one of my friends once, where he got with a girl that just really didn't like anything about him. Well, you know, like, what are you doing there? Why are you choosing to be with this person if the goal is to change everything about them, to turn them into a blank canvas for you to paint on? That this doesn't make sense. Find someone that's more compatible with the things you like at that point. Like in this case, she comes in and she just doesn't like any of it. You're going to flush Yu-Gi-Oh down the shitter. You're going to go back to school. Honestly, it sounds like a mom that's trying to like discipline their kid. Like, all right, no more Xbox. We're unplugging the Xbox and you're going to go to school twice as much now. Somehow we're gonna find extra school for you to go to. It's just so fucking toxic. This guy was doing just fine. He was providing for himself through his passion, through his ambition, his hobbies, but it didn't fit what she thought was acceptable. So she goes in there and tries to force him to do all of it, and unfortunately succeeds, where he does abandon his hobbies and his passion for her, for this relationship. And that just shouldn't have been a sacrifice that he was forced to make for the sake of the relationship. He didn't need to tribute summon his hobby in order to get his wife's appreciation for what she believes is an acceptable idea for an adult hobby. It was making money, it was paying his bills, and it's something he loved doing. Why change that? There's really no good argument I can think of for it. Sounds like she just hated Yu-Gi-Oh! She must have been more of a Digimon gal.
So, she hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey, priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You tell me your wife was crying about Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
But then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like, things that's a part of my life, for someone else to feel happy. And I feel miserable in the process. I love that. I miss that. Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me. It's not about the money, but that was money gone from me.
That was his career. Man, what a disaster. What a shame. Imagine your Yu-Gi-Oh! Passion being so epic it makes your wife cry. My husband has mastered the shadow games. Damn! Fuck! I'd want nothing more than my partner loving their job, man. I'd cry tears of joy. I imagine that's how it works in most healthy relationships, brother. I feel like it's kind of important to have, like, respect. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's kind of basic. He triggered her trap card of divorce. Now, another thing I was thinking about when I went back and watched the whole video is that there is a time where a hobby becomes too consuming, where it starts straining the relationship. Like, maybe he was always fiddling around with those Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you know, by candlelight in like a dark room, and, you know, scratching at his neck for more Yu-Gi-Oh cards and ignoring his wife and letting the relationship start to crumble around him because it's always Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. But I don't think that was the case here. And you'll see why I think that in a moment, the more he explains about how it got to that point. And it's not all about Yu-Gi-Oh! He does talk about how a big part of his life has always been music and street performing, and even that wasn't acceptable to her or her parents, really.
I met the parents. They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I am a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician. I am a musician. Then they said, hey, you have a degree? I said, I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years and told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree.
That's fucking brutal, and to me, it blows my little noodle because this guy was doing so fine on his own. He was paying all of his bills. He was living just fine with the money he was making through Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube content and street performing music. And he'll talk about it in a moment, he was making enough money where he could provide for both himself and his wife through those passions. Yet, they wanted him to just burn it all to the ground, fucking salt the earth, so he could restart with what they think is acceptable, which was going back to school to get a degree and getting a 9-to-5 job. Both things that he did do. Well, he got the 9-to-5 job and attempted school, but school wasn't working out super well for him. But he did everything for that relationship to try and make her happy and be like an acceptable partner in his ex-wife's parents' eyes.
So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneurial things. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all, because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody, to prove something. So when we got married and we moved out to Baltimore to somewhere else that I didn't want to be, she said, hey, how come you're not paying the bills? And I was like, what? I have a job. I have a 9-to-5 job. I don't make enough from this 9-to-5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing in YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9-to-5 all day long, and that's not a complaint, because there are people who do that. But I had something that most people wish they had.
He's right. He had the dream job. He literally had the wet dream most people wish they had, which is their hobby, their passion, being able to sustain them. So they don't have to do something that makes them miserable just to survive. And he says, like, he gave all of that up for her and this relationship, and that new shiny 9-to-5 that he got, all to please his wife, because she believed that that was the only real way to grow up and, you know, move on from Yu-Gi-Oh! And street performing music. Well, that 9-to-5 couldn't pay the bills for both of them. And that's the unfortunate reality of where America is right now. I've talked about this a lot. The normal salary you make at like a 9-to-5, you can't fucking live off of that in like a 2-person household. That just, it's impossible. Things are way too expensive, especially in certain locations. It's just not happening. It's an absolute shame. It's a fucking crime. I'm not going to just rant about that. I've done that plenty on stream. He had a job that could do that. Like, he had a job people kill over. And she just didn't like it. Found it cringe, I guess. Wasn't proud of his hobby and that job that was making him money. So forced is the wrong word, because he mentions as well, he made the choice. He ultimately chose to get rid of all of that for her, but she was pushing him to do it, and now he's miserable with this 9-to-5, and she's not happy because that 9-to-5 isn't able to pay all of the bills.
She says, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. So, last December, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby. You know what she said? You're spending too much time playing those cards. She says, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something.
After selling everything and starting over, he does eventually get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! To a certain extent where he picks up the hobby again, but his wife still just hates that the hobby he picked up was Yu-Gi-Oh! And YouTube. So he goes on to say how she just really didn't like it. That's when he gets into saying how she would like actually cry over Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's where I was saying, like, if it was completely consuming his whole life, where he was ignoring her and everything in the relationship was starting to just dwindle because he was too preoccupied with Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'd understand it. But from what I'm seeing and like going back to his channel, it doesn't seem like that was really the case. He was talking about how since he'd been away from the game for an extended period of time, he needed to relearn it. He needed to catch up on all the new things with Yu-Gi-Oh! So he could make content around it. So he'd be able to be knowledgeable on it, which is perfectly understandable, I'd say. And it doesn't seem like he took it to an excessive degree. It's his passion, it's his hobby, it's what he wanted to do, and it's what he was doing, so he wanted to get back to it. He recognized just how much of a gift being able to do that and make money off of it was, and he wanted that back. So he was getting back into the hobby. She still really hated it. One thing led to another, and now they're no longer together. And it seems like the big reason is because of Yu-Gi-Oh! The deeper issue is that she had absolutely no respect for his passion, and she wasn't supportive and seemed like was embarrassed of him. So it's two people that should have never been together in the first place. He gave up everything he loved to try and make her happy, but she was never really happy with the man that he actually is. So it's just very incompatible, and they tried to make it work, and it didn't work. And both people, I think, were not happy as a result of the relationship. Hopefully going forward, they both find better partners. Hopefully this guy starting over on his YouTube channel, luckily he was able to buy it back. Hopefully he is able to find that success that he once had. And yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about it because I just found it to be one of the more honest videos I've seen on the platform about a subject like this. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Trash, garbage, rubbish, waste. All words that can accurately describe Warner Bros. Yes, I've thrown many tomatoes at them, I know, but they just keep making it so easy. They're a spitball magnet. And it can really, a large part of it, be traced back to one decision, a patient zero, David Zaslav. Since he took over 4 years ago now, actually, it has just been so bad for that company. All he does really is cancel projects that are pretty close to finished, or just get rid of things that they already have. And I know Warner Bros. Was in a bad spot before. It was in a dark place before David Zaslav came in there with the, knight in shining armor, with radiant sunbeams shining on him, potentially being their savior. But this would be like trying to cure alcoholism with heroin. Now, I have no doubt there are some shareholders that do view him as the cure to the disease of money loss that Warner Bros. Was afflicted with. Through his innovative strategy, his remarkable genius scheme of just getting rid of everything, just cutting everything Warner Bros. Has to squeeze some doubloons on the bottom line for the shareholders, it has worked for them, I suppose, at least based on what I can see. But on the grand scheme of things, his strategy has basically just been, hey, you're excited for that? Well, there's a good chance we're just going to can it right before it comes out. Or, hey, we finished this thing that you were excited for, but we decided not to release it because we're just going to go for a tax break on it instead. It's a fucking terrible strategy if you're anyone that likes content. David Zaslav is the opposite of King Midas. He's fucking King ripe ass, because everything he touches turns to ass instead of gold. He's got the cheese touch, and it has infected every part of this company. They are struck with the orb of confusion and can't break out. They just made the baffling decision to shut down Monolith Productions. The studio behind beloved titles like Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, with a highly anticipated Wonder Woman game still in the pipeline that, from my understanding, was pretty far along in development. They have now just come out and axed that company. Not just Monolith, they also shut down Player First Games as well as Warner Bros. San Diego. But Monolith is the most surprising one because everyone loves those games, and there's a lot of faith in Monolith as a company. So there was a lot of hype around this game that's been in development for a long time, and now will never see the light of day, much like a lot of other things Warner Bros. Has done. Like, I've already talked about this a lot. There's no reason to regurgitate it, but I will briefly mention them just refusing to release Coyote vs. Acme even though it's completed. I hate this fucking company, man. It's crazy. But in this case, they didn't complete the project yet. It was still actively in development, and now it won't see the light of day unless it leaks somehow. But what this also means is they're burying the Nemesis system in the coffin with Monolith here. The Nemesis system is one of the most innovative systems we've seen in the last decade. It was a really cool feature that was present in Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, and Warner Bros. Patented it, which is why you haven't seen it outside of those two games. And the thought would be that they'd use it in their products because they own the patent, but no. Instead, they crossed their arms and said, "It's my toy to not play with. You can't touch it. It's mine to do nothing with." And now that they've killed Monolith, it truly is going to be something that they're going to do nothing with, I imagine. And that patent doesn't expire until 2036. It's so infuriating how dog shit Warner Bros. Is. Like, they're not even doing business, they're doing shitness. Like, I hate to keep bringing up things I've already talked about a lot in regards to this company, but Coyote vs. Acme. They finished that movie. It had like a $70, $80 million budget, I can't quite recall. And instead of releasing it, they just decided to claim a tax loss, which didn't recoup the budget or anything. It barely even made up for half of their total spend on the production in the first place. Great work, David. Big gold star for that one. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say, though, about gaming in general with Warner Bros. So the main goal with the structuring of Warner Bros. Game development studios is that they want to focus on 4 really powerful games, according to the lobotomite himself, David Zaslav. You know, really powerful games like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which lost them 200 million clams, by the way. Rocksteady wasn't on the chopping block. I love Rocksteady for their previous work. I fucking hate Suicide Squad, plus that company doesn't have, like, the most important people at it from back in the day. I don't know if they'll turn it around, but Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was one of the worst games of 2024, and yet Monolith, who actually has majority bangers, heaters, and their last 2 games have been super heaters, somehow they're the ones that get axed? Okay, fucking make it make sense, David. Now, what he's actually referring to is Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. Those are their key franchises, and they don't want to, like, venture out beyond there, even though I think this is super stupid to just marry your whole fucking development studios to just these 4 properties. I have said for a long time, I think the path forward for these studios is that they do a lot of smaller projects that don't cost as much or don't take as long to develop, and instead focus on being creative and unique. So that way there's not as much spend, but there's a lot more potential. Things like a Hi-Fi Rush, for example. Like, there's, I think, significantly more potential in that, as opposed to just making a fucking $200 million Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League loss. But anyway, here's the statement in its entirety. We've had to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises. You've already failed. You haven't made the best games possible in a long, long time. Than Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. After careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios: Monolith, Player First Games, and Warner Bros. San Diego. This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them. The development of Monolith's Wonder Woman video game will not move forward. You know, interestingly enough, Wonder Woman's a DC game, huh? From a beloved developer? Why didn't that make it? I mean, it's part of your key franchise approach. What is this strategic direction here? To only put these properties in the hands of the worst developers? Like, I don't really know. I'm a little confused, to be honest with you. Monolith was extremely talented with a lot of faith in their brand, and you gave them a DC property, which you're saying is your key franchise. So why would you take them off of that in order to instead have Rocksteady work on another super stinker? Like, it's not like Monolith was working on something obscure no one knows, you know, like Dino Custodians, Janitors in Space, Prehistoric Plowing. Like, it's a well-known IP with an extremely well-known developer that people love. It just doesn't make sense. Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities. And I think this is all code for not live service enough. We couldn't nickel and dime our community enough, so we had to let them go. We couldn't find ways of monetizing Wonder Woman to the same inefficient level as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is another tough decision, as we recognize Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. We greatly admire the passion of the three teams and thank every employee for their contributions. As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high-quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios and getting our games business back to profitability and growth in 2025 and beyond. You imbecile. David Zaslav's brain is so fascinating because it really feels like it's been wired incorrectly. Like there were some screws loose and then it got put back together and the neural pathways were all cattywampus. Because it seems he lacks a fundamental understanding of what growth means in gaming here. Typically, you wouldn't want to cut your most talented developer working on a huge IP before it releases. That doesn't seem smart. Now you've just eaten a huge loss for the 8 years of development, and that product will never see the light of day, so you can't even begin to recoup it. It just seems like a stupid decision, especially when your key strategic plan is to focus on one of the IPs that your most talented developer was working on. So now you're going to take that same IP and just give it to a most likely worse developer. How are you growing? You've downsized, sure. You've effectively downsized, and now you'll stop spending money on the salary of all the developers that you just fired, but you didn't grow. You stayed in the same spot, just squeezed a couple extra pennies out by firing so many people, and now you don't even have a game to show for it for all this loss that you've just eaten. Show me where the growth is on that, because I must be missing it. I just think it's a terrible decision, and I hate the David Zaslav strategy to everything of just get rid of everything, and if we're not spending any money, that means we're not losing any money. I hate it. I really don't like it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, especially because I love Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, and the fact that we're not going to see anything else from Monolith now. And let's say like pie in the sky, Monolith gets to stay together, someone else takes the entire team intact and they work on something. Well, they still can't use the Nemesis system they created because Warner Bros. Owns the patent, at least to my understanding. So yeah, Warner Bros. Is trash. That's about it. See ya. See, someone just stole $1 million in olive oil. What's the point in stealing that much in things? In things like that. The way I asked that sounded like a child. Why would someone take something that's not theirs? But I mean, like, why would you steal that much olive oil? You can't sell it. You could never make $1 million out of your $1 million theft of olive oil.
Police say another transport company with specialized trucks picked up the oil and was supposed to make a delivery. The client never received the shipment, and the theft was reported on Wednesday. Dalhousie University.
Very cool footage just showing olive oil.
Oil is popular for thieves because it's resellable.
With cheese and olive oil, well, it's a middle ground sort of product. It is expensive, but not that expensive.
What? Is there like an olive oil black market I don't know about? There's what? You're telling me it's easy to resell cheese and olive oil? Who the fuck is just buying cheese out of someone's trunk? Restaurants? Well, I mean, obviously restaurants would be the main clientele, but I just don't think you'd be buying olive oil from like Shady Goober who's selling you olive oil out of their dad's F-150. Like what? You'd probably just go to like the actual olive oil broker. There's a huge black market for oil and spices. What? All right, I'm going to look into this. I'm going to get some boots on the ground here. Why? It can't be that much cheaper, right? Like, think economies of scale. You buy $1 million worth of olive oil from, I don't know, fucking Yoakum & Sons. I don't know who sells olive oil like that. But you buy it from Yoakum & Sons. Like, they're the gold standard of olive oil. You probably get a huge deal. Like, all that olive oil, you probably get a great deal on, as opposed to going to the guy that stole it, who's trying to turn that olive oil theft into, like, the exact amount it's worth. You're probably paying more from that guy than you would be just getting it from the actual source. The fakes, the frauds, the scams, how to tell if your olive oil is the real deal. The olive oil industry is rife with fraud. I think this is just, like, about brands that are faking that their olive oil is virgin or something. This is an interesting headline. The shocking truth about Italian olive oil and the mafia. If you steal it, you can rebrand it and call it homemade olive oil. The thief isn't buying the olive oil, so making any money is good, doesn't even need to be marked up. That's true, I guess. I don't know why you would buy just from, like, a dude. Like, just a guy. That could just be contaminated. Holy shit, in 2024, some thieves in Houston stole $2.5 million worth of olive oil.
Is, not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when you think of large-scale theft.
This is common.
Houston company says slick thieves stole olive oil worth more than $2.5 million. Jason Miles is live outside the warehouse.
My God, he went straight to P. Diddy's house too, I bet. Oh, the culprit. He's holding it right there.
672 bottles of olive oil make up a pallet. 290 pallets. 290 pallets. How many bottles is that?
That's crazy, man. That's so crazy.
Every pallet has 672 bottles.
That's more than $2.5 million worth of olive oil that was likely trucked out by more than a dozen tractor trailers. And get this, I'm told the company that operated this warehouse is now out of business and conveniently did not have working surveillance cameras at the time.
Oh!
That is all part of the...
An inside job. Wait, this was their exit strategy. We're going to steal $2.5 million worth of premium olive oil and sell it for half the price and run our business into the ground. It's genius.
At a premium around the world, partly because of a drought in Spain where so many olive trees grow. Reporting live on the east side, Jason Miles.
What a fascinating market.
Something of value, olive oil, can become a target too. Jason, thank you.
I don't know why he said it like that, but I guess so. Wait, man. If you got some olive oil in your house, it's sitting on gold, I guess. So the most recent one is the $1 million stolen from the trucking company. That's what started us down this path. Then there's the $2.5 million one last year. Some guy asked a question on Quora. Why are thieves stealing olive oil instead of gold? Probably because it's easier to get your hands on some pallets of olive oil than it is to get your hands on fucking gold. Like, what are you gonna do, break into Fort Knox? Like, Jesus, Junior, get off the web. It's a stupid question. My question is, why olive oil over any other target? I bet at one point you've unknowingly bought stolen olive oil, and it's going to keep me up at night knowing that. Also, you know what? Actually, I fucking doubt it. You think Publix is buying from the thieves? I don't think so. I got a lot of trust in Publix. Piggly Wiggly, maybe, but not Publix. Thanks, Resubzoot. Hey, glad you're liking the soap, Zoot. Maybe at some point, but right now it's just the body soap. It's not just olive oil. Apparently someone stole 100,000 eggs, which are now considered a luxury due to bird flu. We did go over that one a little bit. See, that I can understand a little bit more. That one I do actually get to a certain extent. Egg thieves, like egg thievery, that's happened quite a bit. There was also like the 60-year-old dudes who made off with like 400 grand worth of eggs a few years ago. We talked about that on stream. So like eggs, oh, I know, we've been there, done that. Olive oil, though, I don't know, just to me it doesn't sound smart. Also, it seems like stealing olive oil is a new thing. It's only been prevalent in the last 2 years. I can't find any olive oil heists, like Ocean's 11 style heists or anything, dating anything before 2024. So that was a big... Nope, never mind. Spanish police seize 74 tons of stolen olives among soaring prices. That's 2023, but that's not olive oil. That's just directly olives. It also looks like they were just transporting it in the backseat of their fucking car like a clown. A couple days ago, a video blew up of a track meet where one of the girls struck another girl in the back of the head with the baton as she was passed, which led to the victim suffering a concussion and possible skull fracture. It was pretty cut and dry what happened. With your own peepers, you could see it, you could process it, there was no smoke and mirrors. There could be no excuse other than I heard the Kingsman frequency and needed to attack somebody. Like, there is nothing that could explain it. Like, there's no deeper context to what happened. It was kaput. She attacked the other girl with the baton. And I thought that's where it would end. Like, okay, that was a really fucked up thing to do. She'll probably get in a lot of trouble for it. And while that does seem to be happening, there is an investigation underway. The girl who hit the other girl with the baton has come forward and done an interview crying about how people have misunderstood her and what happened, and going for a really interesting Hail Mary lie about how, like, you only watched the 9-second video, you didn't get the whole picture, and now you're being mean to me. You weren't thinking about my mental health. She actually tried that. It's so interesting. I just want to share it with you so you can form your own opinion on whether or not she deliberately hit the other girl, or if it was truly an accident, as she claims. But if you do form the opinion that it was an accident, you are way too fucking gullible. You probably also fall for crypto meme coin scams. Like, holy shit. It's so clearly not an accident. You see the track runner who hit another runner with a baton while running? That shit was foul. Yeah.
Have to see it's unimaginable unsportsmanlike conduct on the track. This morning, a high school track star is still recovering nearly a week after being hit on the head by another runner during a race.
Yeah, I mean, that's brutal. Like, honestly, that's fucking assault with a deadly weapon right there. From what I recall, she got a concussion and something else. There was some other injury she sustained from it.
Virginia State High School League Championships when the shocking incident happened.
That's when she hit me with the baton.
Watch again as you see the...
That is pretty degenerate. That's gotta be a case right there. That's gotta be. Those batons aren't plastic either. They're heavy. No, fuck, man. Of course they're not. They're like goddamn nightsticks. I ran a little track in high school. Those batons are not a joke. You can do some damage. The runner who hit her did a local news interview. It's on Wavy TV 10. Oh, okay, I'll have to check that out. Is she claiming it was accidental?
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter. That was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner.
It's definitely not an accident.
High School.
Tonight, a Portsmouth family says they're telling their side of the story in reference to a shocking incident at
their side of the assault, huh?
Meet that left one athlete allegedly injured after she claimed she was struck by a baton held by
allegedly injured,
high school senior Alayla Everett. Everett spoke exclusively to.
So, you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
Alayla Everett is a decorated athlete and senior at IC Norcom High School, rounding a curve on the track when they nearly collided with each other.
Okay, after a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears intentional.
What?
Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my...
What? Wait, that claim's nuts. Let's just toy around with that idea for just a moment. Let's say, because they are close, let's say it did kind of like get stuck on her for a moment. When she freed it, she brought it back and extended out. If she was just like readjusting to like start pumping again, there'd be no way she'd reach out and hit her with it. Like, there's just no way.
But Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my intentions and I would never hit somebody on purpose. I didn't have to see your first video, second video, 10 video. I know 100%.
Like, just look at that. You can't be... She even looking at her head, like, when she's striking. What do you mean? In every angle, it's so clear that it's an intentional baton blasting.
Qualified, a ruling that a local USA track and field official finds questionable. He says a play-by-play look shows that the Brookville athlete was running closely to Alayla.
If a person comes...
What? She's actually getting her with the Y iota? She's charging it.
Outside, they got to be a full stride ahead of me before they can cut in front of me.
The other family spoke with the news station in Roanoke asking for an apology from Alayla, something she wanted to hear, but she says the other athlete hasn't been receptive, blocking her on social media. And
I misunderstood. I thought they were asking for an apology from the lady that got hit. You weren't even thinking of my feelings when you got a concussion when I hit you. I'd like you to apologize. Are you sorry yet? You've caused me a lot of problems. Got her with the R2 attack. True. Yeah, the charged heavy.
In Portsmouth Public Schools says they will support whatever ruling comes from the league.
What's up with the fucking popcorn shrimp on the back here? What? Yeah, I think that's pretty clearly intentional. But I understand why she would try and, like, throw some air of doubt in it, because she could be facing some super serious repercussions. So, I get why she'd try with the tears and... No, it was an accident. I was stumbling. You're missing the context. Oh, if it was my kid, oh my god, yeah. Nah, that's just straight up... that is unbelievably dangerous. Getting punched in the back of the head like a kangaroo punch to the back of the head, that's killed people. Getting a fucking meaty wind-up baton alt to the back of the head? No. That's a case. Do I care about how you spend your own money? Yes. Do I have the right to care about how you spend your personal hard-earned clams? Yes. I'm not your accountant. I'm not your boss. I'm not your Fortnite duos partner. But I am your friend. Your best friend, even. Nay, I think we're closer than that. I'm your family. Scratch that. I'm you. And as you, I know what's best for yourself. And it's not spending $12,500 being the personal assistant to Gene fucking Simmons. I have made fun of him before because he is one of the most famous douchebags around. He looks like if Billy Mitchell found Fent, and now he's offering this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to pay him $12,500 to be his personal assistant and roadie for a day. What an extraordinary honor. You get to follow around this washed-up octogenarian, changing his diapers while having him scream, spitting in your face, demanding that you bring him another cup of Voss water. Whoopee. What a privilege. I'm getting my wallet out right now, Gene. He's doing this to kick off his exhilarating spring US tour with his solo band and offering a unforgettable fan experience for $12,495, available to one big spender per concert date. I can't believe there's even an opening to be his personal assistant. I imagine people climb all over themselves to work with Gene Simmons. His previous assistants probably all got institutionalized from having to work with someone so notoriously miserable to be around. But honestly, with value like this, he's giving it away at that price. You get to carry his amps and brew his coffees just the way he likes them, no doubt. Anything shy of that and he'll probably come to your house and kick your dog. It's called the ultimate Gene Simmons experience. And who doesn't want that? That's up there with like a cock and ball torture experience, and everybody loves that. This is something big. You get to be a roadie for a day, meaning you'll get to load gear into the venue, set up the stage, help oversee sound check, and even get introduced by Simmons during the show, so thousands of people will know you've emptied your bank account. Actually a dream come true for lobotomites. You get to be called out and humiliated in front of the entire venue. He is literally going to call you out saying, "And this is all made possible thanks to this dweeb who just paid me $12,000, carried up my amps, brewed my coffee, and is now just sitting over there working not only for free, but paying to work. Give it up for this absolute dork. Yeah. Wah." Like, how cool is that? Huh? I mean, are you sold yet? Because I know I am. Credit where credit's due. This waste of money super scam is not the standard crypto meme coin rug pull. So I'll tip my fedora to you on that one, Gene. Your quirkiness has come up with a really creative way of hosing suckers for some cash here for sure. Now, if you want to spend cash on something worthwhile, you can get the Hysteria line of clothing from moistglobal.com. It just came out. Check it out. This was not supposed to be like an advertisement slot here, but it just felt so natural since I just gave him like the whole full-blown fucking salute there. But anyway, back to the package here, because that's what we all want to know. I have $12,500 lying around, burning a hole in my pocket. I was thinking about flushing it down my shitter. Is there any better use of it? Well, yes. Not only do you get to brew his coffees, carry his equipment, and work for him by paying him, brother, you get to be a rock star. At least that's what Simmons says in an Instagram post. Nothing says getting up there and being a rock star quite like brewing this dude's coffee and being his little fucking errand boy for a whole day. Now, of course, there are other perks. You're not just going there and working. No, it's fun. Who doesn't love huffing farts out of Gene Simmons' butthole while paying $12,495 to do so? You get some super cool goodies to take home at the end of the day, such as a bass guitar that Simmons, at one point or another, used during a Kiss rehearsal. What the fuck? Going to his official website to dive deeper into this blessing, I found this wonderful picture that he uses to advertise it for the ultimate Gene Simmons experience, and it goes so hard. That looks ballistic there. The Photoshop is immaculate. The rough edges there, I think there's a good chance Gene Simmons might have done this himself. Maybe he strangled the life out of his graphics guy because he didn't like the way he looked at him, so then he was forced to do it all by himself. Who knows, but he crushed it. Now, looking at the perks here, you'll notice it's a laundry list of really cool things. You're basically getting the one piece of Gene Simmons memorabilia. So you're going to meet up with the man, the myth, the legend himself, as well as members of the band. You're going to go over the show schedule for the day, the whole itinerary. Then you get to be part of the team for the whole day. You get a crew member shirt and hat. You get a crew member VIP laminate. You get to have a meal with Gene Simmons. Do you recognize how big that is? You remember that old hypothetical that used to float around? Would you rather have $500K or a dinner with Jay-Z? And you'd have the most insufferable cucks of all time saying that they'd rather have the dinner with Jay-Z because they'd learn more from him from that dinner than what they'd gain from taking $500K. Like they thought they'd be millionaires because they'd have dinner with Jay-Z. Like somehow it'd give them like a TED Talk and a tutorial on how to make all this money. Well, you get to live that fantasy with Gene Simmons. Then, of course, we get into what we already discussed with basically just working for them. Then he gets to bring you on stage and introduce you so everyone can throw tomatoes at you for being such a fucking idiot. Then you also get a set list signed by Gene Simmons himself. You get to take photos throughout the whole experience. You can even bring a guest. You can bring one of your friends. Though, I imagine you probably don't have many of those if you're spending $12,000 on a Gene Simmons day. And you even get to bring 4 items for Gene to sign. Your fucking fleshlights, whatever else. He'll sign them. And of course, you get that super duper special bass that I just mentioned a moment ago. Now, he does have a more financially viable option for all the brokies out there that can't afford $12,500 to give over to Gene Simmons for absolutely fucking nothing. He has a $6,500 option. What a saint. Check this one out. $6,500, you get to meet Gene Simmons. That is a steal. I cannot believe he's going to meet you for less than $10,000. Unbelievable generosity here from Gene. And of course, you get to take home a Gene Simmons bass. He will even sign and personalize the bass case, 4 items of your choice. You get to take photos and videos. And guess what? When you meet him, you're going to find out that Gene Simmons... Gene Simmons... purely accidental, but a pretty cool nickname. Gene, if you want to use it, I'll let you have that nickname for only $12,000. You get to meet Gene Simmons. You'll get to meet him, yes, but you will also find that he is very down-to-earth, funny, and knowledgeable on almost any subject. He is knowledgeable on almost anything. Quiz him. Geography, he'll nail it. He can point to anything on the map. No matter what it is. Atlantis, he'll point to it on a fucking map. He knows exactly where it is. Ask him about chemical bonds. Ask him to do some electron orbitals. Like, he'll know. No doubt in my mind. And you'll find that out too for only $6,500. And you get to bring 3 friends. And you'll all get to learn. Now, I know I started this video by saying that this isn't worth your money, but after going through it, is this the best use of $12,500? It might be. It just might be. You get so much out of it. You can't put a price tag on fun. And you can't put a price tag on a Gene Simmons experience. Well, I mean, I guess you can, but like, the value you'll get out of it will no doubt somehow make up for the $12,000 that you're in the hole. So, maybe not worth it. Probably not worth it. You do what the fuck you want. If you spend $12,500 to be the personal assistant to Gene Simmons, I think you deserve to be bullied. Like, forever. That's really about it. So, yeah.
As a Z-list celebrity, I get asked to do a lot of stupid shit a lot of times, and sometimes I accept. The Rock does excel at a lot of things. Being super big, commitment to being super big, getting bigger, eating like a big person, and being big. I do like a lot of The Rock's movies. I do like CIA. Was one of my favorite movies from The Rock. Jumanji, that was very cool. That was very cool. He's laid out a couple stinkers. He's laid out some stinkers, but I have faith in the man, and it seems there's no exception for Dwayne "My Rock" Johnson. Mr. Johnson has decided to release what I would believe is something that he didn't know he was releasing, and somebody just kind of told him, show up for a photo shoot, we'll get you set, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is coming out with a hair product. You heard it right. The bald guy is coming out with a hair product. It's called Papa Tui. Now, here's the thing. I actually heard it's not bad. It hasn't really been locked down on what kind of hair it's for. But look, I'm guessing there's going to be different formulas. There's going to be, you know, different situations for different... I'm not sure. I'm really trying to give this a fighting chance. I just want the bald man to explain what's happening here. One thing you have to think about. We like to hold people to a certain... No, we don't. You know what? I don't want to lie to you guys. We're bad at this. We're bad at this. This shit is gonna hit. It's gonna hit. You're gonna buy it. I'm gonna try it. Everybody's gonna see what it is. Nobody's gonna look at it and be like, well, you know, look how many people bought Goop. The backlash and the complete shit he's getting on Twitter is it's about as much as you would expect. Ever since Twitter turned into X, it's pretty much just a place where shit grows and where you just go to get shit on. It's a downtrodden place. His hair is getting posted about like an old ex-girlfriend, and he misses it so much. But that's just something that we can never bring back, and I don't think we ever should. Do you remember what it looked like? What I'm not okay with is him parading in ads for it like he's used it. Now, look, I don't know if he grows the stubble, washes that up, get a good lather going or something like that, and then, you know, comes out and whisks it around or something like that. But I gotta tell you, if he's in an ad, like, washing it off of his head, like, look how well this works. We don't have a reference, Rock. There's nothing there for us to reference. What changed? Now you're just going to get ashy. Now we're just sitting here looking at you get ashy. But there is aftercare. There's aftercare in the kit as well. So, who knows? I would love to see a review from a person with hair and a bald person. Because we can't trust The Rock. He's selling it. So, you know. There's a lot of people not taking it serious also. They think it's a joke. They think it's a troll. They think it's a ploy for a movie or something else that's coming up. And I can tell you here and now, it is not. It is not. This is a real thing. This will never be a joke to him. He wants you to buy it. He wants you to believe that he's been washing his hair with it. Who knows? For all we know, the man has a full mountain mound downstairs. Who knows? We've never seen Rock's bottom half. You never know. Maybe he has a real polyfro down there. That's possible. Could be possible with Papa Tui. What a great name also. Papa Tui. Whoo! That's almost like sock it to me. It's just easy to say. It just rolls off the fucking tongue. Could be a pube thing. That's not something we're ready to find out. He's trying to let everybody find out on their own. You wash your hair with it, soap runs down, and you go, oh man, that worked out. That was great. But look, Papa Tui is The Rock's care line for men, backed with science and formula that performs well. It helps men develop a skincare routine without being teased or mocked by other men. Now, on hair care products, his Papa Tui Nourishing Shampoo and Conditioner works not only for guys with full-on hair on their heads, but also for bald men because of its scalp-friendly formulation. Not only that, but it will keep your hair and scalp hydrated and healthy. So that's what it is. You know, as much as we want to shit on it all day, the man knows what he needs for his bald head, and he knows what he would want if he had hair. I think this is a win-win for everybody. We're not going to not buy it. There's going to be reviews all over the place. We're shitting on it now because we don't know that it's the best product of all time. And he's been holding this down in his secret lab under his $43 billion house that I'm sure he has because he's fucking Moana. No, he's not Moana. Oh my God, he's not Moana. Oh no, they're getting sued. I can't say that. Okay, don't say anything about them getting sued. He's not Moana though. He's Maui. Jesus Christ. I like how they're saying it's science backed. Like, all right, we can't check that. You know what I mean? I'm not smart enough to check that. That's not something I could go and you know, actually, I guess I can ask ChatGPT. That's, yeah. Well, look, I'm not smart enough to fact check the science on this thing. I don't know what ingredients would make it safe or not, or for bald heads or for scalps and hair. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You want to check? Take the Papatui to a scientist and say, hey, can you tell me if this is good for hair or not? What does it say on the back? Yeah, this is good. That's fine. I'm not spending money on checking this. I'm sure there is going to be somebody that checks this that thoroughly because people just want to prove The Rock wrong. He's done great in his life. This may be one of those hiccups that he's going to have to get over, much like the DC movie, to not be named. Let's keep that out of this. But I think this is going to be one of those hurdles, Rock. Good job. But good news is, man never skips leg day. So, jump away, my friend. The Rock has a hair product. You guys, tell me what you think. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I kind of already know what you think. Just want to talk about that a bit. That's about it. See ya.
Crypto scam! Did I scare you? I should have. Hopefully put the fear of God deep in your soul for that. Crypto scams are the main jump scare that people are falling for time and time again. It's more contagious than the cold at this point. It is happening every other week on the largest possible scale. So, I'm sure I don't need to tell you what that is at this point. The word crypto has now just become synonymous with rug pull in the eyes of most people because you keep getting had. You're getting played like a fiddle time and time again with these meme coins that keep popping up. I just don't know how it keeps happening. Now, admittedly, I do get it in this case. What we're talking about today is one of the biggest rug pulls in history. The president of Argentina, Javier Milei, well, he endorsed a meme coin called Libra, and within hours of his endorsement, he deleted his tweet supporting it, and the coin completely crashed. And now over $100 million has mysteriously vanished. A song and dance we've heard time and time again. Crypto has become synonymous with scam in the eyes of many people, because this keeps happening over and over and over again. It's a story more iconic than Dracula. Like, this is a story told more frequently than The Little Engine That Could. And I just want to go over it a little bit. I'm not going to pretend to be super knowledgeable on Argentina and everything going on over there, but what I am knowledgeable on are these fucking crypto scams, because they keep happening in almost the exact same ways every single time. And for some reason, in the crypto space exclusively, people have this mentality that it's gambling. It's not. Buster, let me sit you down. I'm going to have an intervention. I'm going to get the fucking paddle out here and try and beat some sense into you. You're not gambling when it comes to something like this. Gambling implies there's a chance of winning. And when it comes to gambling, you're usually going up against the house. Well, when it comes to these shit coins, you're not just going up against the house. You're going up against the house and all of its friends. You will never be faster than the insiders or the snipers. You are the piggy bank they are taking from. You are the reason they make so much money. You will never be the one to capitalize off it. I'm just going to hit you with the cold water. There's some fringe cases where just some average Joe Schmo does get lucky with, you know, that happens. I get it. It will most likely never happen to you. But for some reason, no matter how many times Bikini Bottom beats your ass, it's a lesson that never gets through to you. How many times do you have to teach you this lesson, old man? It doesn't compute. It never dawns on the victims of these rug pulls. You know that expression, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me? Fool me 3 times, won't get fooled again. Well, in crypto, it's a little different. It's fool me once, I got unlucky. Fool me twice, got unlucky again. Fool me 3 times, I got unlucky. Fool me 4 times, can't believe I got unlucky again. Fool me 5 times, I'm out of money, but when I get more, I'm going to put into some more meme coins. They just keep coming back for more. Getting scammed time and time again, thinking that this next one is the one. This is the golden goose. It's not. Like, this is not your Moby Dick. You're never going to actually accomplish this. But I'm already way off track just going over this shit again. What happened in Argentina, the president endorsed this meme coin, it crashed, completely collapsed. He is now facing impeachment for this. It is just a full-blown scam. It's unknown exactly how much he knew about this project before publicly endorsing it, but he bears so much responsibility because without him putting it on the map, tons of people wouldn't have lost tons of money. He is directly to blame for scamming the citizens of his country. Full stop. That's an immutable fact. That's the brass tacks of it. Again, it's unclear exactly how much he knew about this project before the endorsement, but it is his fault so many people bought into the scam. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this tweet. To astute observers, you'll notice that this is the same smell, the same aroma of bullshit that you get for all of these god-awful meme coins, but to people that don't know the space and all the evils that come with it from time to time, well, from time to time, that's very generous, that come with it so often, they wouldn't know any better because you have your president who is now just publicly glazing this project. Liberal Argentina grows. This private project will be dedicated to encouraging the growth of Argentine economy by funding small Argentinian businesses and startups the world wants to invest in Argentina. Then he links it. Then he drops the contract. Libra, long live freedom, damn it! Amen. May that freedom live long. And by long, we're speaking relatively. From the eyes of a mosquito, that's the perspective we're dealing with here. Because it wasn't very long, all things considered. The coin was only alive a little bit longer than ejaculate outside the human body. Your sperm can survive 30 to 45 minutes, even an hour at optimal conditions. And this coin, Libra, barely beat that. It made it 3 hours before it completely crashed with over 100 million just being wiped out of it. Going somewhere interesting. And where did it go? Who's to say for sure? However, CoffeeZilla just conducted an interview with a key player, Hayden Davis. I cannot recommend this interview enough. Hayden did not call Saul before agreeing to this interview. The admissions here are shocking. There was definitely no lawyer in his ear. He did not get a legal professional on the horn before agreeing to this. I highly recommend you listen to this interview because it is baffling. Hayden is more unlikable than an ingrown toenail. I'm not going to play you a ton of clips. I really encourage you to watch CoffeeZilla's interview. He did a great job with it. And I love that. I don't know what CoffeeZilla did to get him to just squeal like this. Maybe he injected him with like some kind of truth serum via Discord. But Hayden just admits to so many fucking things that I don't think he recognizes the severity of. I am going to leave you with just one little clip from it where he talks about insiders.
It's a separate conversation. Retail traders.
Unbelievably shitty. I do think that's unbelievably bad, and for everyone, except for the insiders, which is what I always say about meme coins, is it disproportionately benefits insiders.
So I think too, like my honest opinion is like I don't actually disagree, but I think like the vast majority of people betting on meme coins, right, especially at the beginning, and I think there's a separate conversation. Retail traders, like, that is the game for everyone. And people that get mad are the people that aren't insiders. That is what happens. That's all the bitching on socials is all the people that don't get into the deals. You'll never hear them bitch if they're in the deal. So it's like, what do you do then? You don't do anything. You don't launch the project. You're like, how do you make money then?
Yeah, goofball, you don't launch the project. It's a fucking meme coin that was designed to just exploit people that aren't your insiders, that aren't in on the deal, which is the vast majority of fucking people, you unbelievable stupid buffoon. Yes, Hayden, you don't launch the project. Because there is no project. This was just a scam. Like, he openly admits to all of the insider accusations. Like, everything that they'd been accused of, Hayden just, like, openly confirms. He even talks about the $100 million. It's a fascinating look at the mind of a scammer. Like, a degenerate scammer. I'm going to drop one more clip here from the interview, just to really sell you on how juicy this is. You need to watch this. This absolute fucking stinky, putrid vermin confirms that he sniped his own coin. And here's what he had to say about it.
The wallet which Dave got refunded by, which is, according to him, your personal funds, was linked to an Avalanche wallet which was funded like a sniper of Libra. So, but if you launch the coin, isn't it unfair for you to snipe the coin?
So I would say no. And I would say that for a couple different reasons. Number one, a lot of the times when, and again, this is like, I mean, again, it's a much larger conversation, which is what I told you in text. But most of the time when we're, I have different money in different places, obviously. But from the standpoint of sniping, most of the time when we're sniping, we're attempting to avoid other snipers getting in.
My God, he deserves the Medal of Honor and the Purple Heart. Holy shit, even give him the Spelling Bee Championship. This guy is a saint. You see, when they're sniping their own coin, they're doing it from a place of nobility. Like, they're doing it from a place of looking out for the little guy. They're trying to help the rest of us by being so generous to snipe their own coin for their own financial gain. Man, this is eye-opening stuff, Hayden. It really is. It's so interesting. So definitely watch CopyZilla's video on it. I don't understand how he is not just immediately thrown in the slammer within minutes of him doing this interview and having it go live. It's crazy to me. That's the beauty of the crypto space, baby. That's the fairy tale magic right there. Long live the freedom to fuck you in the butt and face no repercussions for it. This has been happening time and time again, only accelerating in frequency recently with things like Pump.fun and then tons of celebrities coming out with their own meme coins that are all rugging. Like, it's just so fucking crazy. And I'm sure, I am 100% sure it will continue to happen because people still think that they're going to be the chosen one. They're going to be Goku here and they're going to have the Super Saiyan wherewithal to pull out at the perfect time. You won't, because you're not an insider. No matter how much you convince yourself you are not an insider on deals like this. Like, Dave Portnoy got insider information on this. He didn't buy, like, before it went live, at least not from what I've seen, though I did see him go on Twitter saying he bought fake Libra, and now he's trying to sell fake Libra. Like, I don't fucking understand at all what's going on there. But you're not Dave Portnoy. You're just a guy. And you saw the president of Argentina make the tweet. Just because it comes from the president doesn't mean he's not going to fuck your face. Like, it's crypto. It's all fair game because there are no consequences for rugging like this. It just, you don't see anyone get in trouble for it, and people have picked up on it, which is why so many celebrities, Hawk Tuah girl even, fucking Z-list celebrities are doing it now. So yeah, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening until people finally learn that they are never going to make money by being someone that just puts into this, thinking that they're smarter than the other sheep. They're going to be the ones that are going to be the beneficiary of the rug. You won't be, because you are not the insider. You are not the sniper. You're not in the deal, like Hayden says. It's just so silly, and it's sad. It's fucking sad, especially in a case like this, where I think this is one of those cases where a lot of people who lost money aren't your normal stupid crypto bros that are just YOLOing all of their cash, hoping for moonshots. I really think there's a lot of people that believed so strongly in the president that they saw this enthusiasm for this project, all this glaze, and thought, okay, I'm in, only to get absolutely ruined for it. So I just had to talk about this a bit. That's really it. See ya. Today we're taking a look at a Diet Dhar Man channel, which is something we haven't done in many, many moons. It has been years since the last time I even mentioned Dhar Man and his cinematic universe. I don't know what's going on over there. Probably has already introduced the multiverse to it by now. Maybe he's got some new content up there like Man Makes Music, What Happens Next Will Shock You, and it's like the story of Charles Manson, except the lore's been retconned or something. I couldn't tell you. I haven't tuned in a while, but I did just learn that one of his clone channels, Samir Bhavnani, made a really interesting sponsored video. I learned about this from another YouTuber named August the Duck, and it is so silly. I just have to talk about it and show you.
Coach Conchi, that was an intense practice. You're gonna cry when I stick that full twist dismount.
I don't cry, Lena.
Maybe I'll finally make you.
Now the title indicates that it's fully VO3 generated, which would lead you to believe that the whole thing is AI, but it's not. That claim is a load of dirty barnacles. Since it is a sponsored video, the whole thing is just to promote one really wacky item you're about to see. They clearly needed to have the item present, so they did have human beings, flesh, blood, and cringe here showing it off, and you can clearly see these are people acting, if you can call it acting. Now, I'm not going to get on my high horse as the star of the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, but the point is, it's not all AI generative. It is so unhinged. It's amazing. Samir Bhavnani is like if Dharman got a lobotomy and just continued to make the same content. It is like Dharman videos through the eyes of someone unhinged. Like, this would be like if for Cheeky. Like, imagine for Cheeky, we made like a whole short film about like a guy who's so stinky that everyone around him dies until an angel comes down from the heaven to bless him with a bar of Cheeky soap. And not only does it clean him off, but it revives everyone who perished under his thumb of stink. Like, that kind of slaps. That goes ballistic. Also, Cheeky is having a huge 4th of July sale right now, so go to usecheeky.com and get yourself the best soap in the universe.
You okay?
Sore here, stiff there, the usual. I think my joints are starting to retire before I do.
You should try this. I've been drinking it for a week. It's hydrogen-rich water. H2Ginseng hydrogen water bottle.
Isn't that just fancy water?
No, it's legit, Coach.
No, Coach, this is the real deal here. Check out this paper that has an alien UFO with the H2UN shin abducting it. That's why aliens come to Earth, to steal our H2UN shin. So the product itself was that classic snake oil of the hydrogen-infused water. I've seen a few of these pop up. Most of the time just drop-shipped Alibaba products. And it's all just mumbo-jumbo meant to prey upon the dumbest Neanderthals this planet has to offer. Who the fuck could hear hydrogen-infused water and think that it's something good? Water is already hydrogen. Adding extra hydrogen to it is not going to do much for you. There's no evidence to suggest it does. It's all just pseudoscience gobbledygook that some absolute brain-dead moron might hear and be like, wow, that is a game changer. I never thought to add hydrogen to water. That's like the whole pitch behind it, basically. You know, if you have a fart deficiency, make sure you get the H2UN shin to fix it right up. It can work on anything, any ailment. There's no conclusive evidence to support the claims that it's like any better for you than just normal water. Even in the comment section, he had to pin something letting people know it's not like actually a substitute for anything. It just has some purported benefits, which is like me saying me putting my dick in your throat has some medical benefits as well. Like, it's just bogus claims. So it is an entire video all about the H2UN shin being this panacea that can cure anything. Stiff joints, broken bones, broken hearts, you name it, in the H2UN shin, it's miracle water, hydrogen-infused formulation here will fix you right up. It's like a fucking phoenix down from Final Fantasy. It'll bring you back to life if your heart stops.
And it's totally clean. It's got amazing recovery benefits. I'm way less sore, I sleep deeper, and my skin's like totally glowing. You can't tell me this isn't peak radiance.
Okay, I'll admit it. It does look like you just walked out of a skincare ad.
But I'm serious. My legs used to be sore for like 2 days after vault. Now, nothing.
I love that claim that the water is totally clean. I'd fucking hope so. I kind of go into water drinking with the expectation that it is clean, considering that it's bottled water. I mean, but now you put a seed of doubt in my head when it comes to the H2UN shin. Like, is it just sludge? You serving me fucking swamp water and tar or something? Why did you need to specify that it's clean? I had a feeling it would be. Does the hydrogen infusion process result in radiation and waste infiltrating the water? Now I'm doubtful. Her sales pitch goes on for like a full minute, and then the coach goes to her car in order to look at the brochure with the fucking galactic travelers and the H2UN shin, and then eventually decides that she's gonna try the water. But then we get to the actual spaghetti and meatballs of the production here, where it turns from just a simple, vomit out all the talking points for the hydrogen water baloney into a Dhar man great value storyline here that is so wacky.
Try that new water Lena's been going on about. H2 Juensen hydrogen water bottle. Ice pack, sleep.
Miss Conchi, is she asleep?
Oh, God, it's gruesome. It's terrible. If only she had the H2 Uinshin hydrogen-rich water flowing through her body, she wouldn't have fallen asleep behind the wheel and hit her student with the car, causing such a catastrophic injury. Oh my God. I can't believe the H2 Uinshin that the student was drinking didn't produce like a force field around her to block the car. It's very, maybe it's not as powerful as I was led to believe by Samir Bhavnani here. I thought by drinking the H2 Uinshin, it would make me invincible, like immortal, turn me into a fucking X-Men superhero or something, but clearly not if you're getting taken out by such a slow-moving vehicle. Also, it seemed like Lena wanted to die. She sat there in front of the car, waving to Ms. Conchi, knowing full well she's asleep, and then still did nothing to move.
Maybe she's on to something.
Glad to see you drinking that. A lot of us here use it. Keeps inflammation down, improves oxygen flow. I swear by it after double shifts.
I don't know what's in this stuff, but I feel lighter, clearer. My joints are finally not screaming for once.
This is such a banger. So she's covered in blood. Probably the blood from Lena. She hit her and insta-gibbed her like it's Team Fortress 2. Just fucking blood and guts and gore flew through the windshield and got all over Miss Conchi here. But now she's going to the hospital to pay her victim a visit, and the doctor's just glazing the H2 Uinshin like, oh my God. Ma'am, I am so happy to see you drinking that. Yeah, you just had a vehicular manslaughter case brought against you when you hit this poor woman here. But I see you're drinking that. The charges have been dropped. And also, she's making a full recovery because she knows you're drinking the hydrogen-infused water.
Gossip says it boosts mitochondrial activity, whatever that means.
That's what you want to hear in your product pitch from a supposed doctor, whatever that means, huh? Very knowledgeable, eh, Doc? Excellent. Like, I don't know how anyone could watch this and actually be convinced to buy the product. It makes it look like a full-blown Red Alert scam. This is just your basic text-to-speech AI voiceover from TikTok now for this guy. And all it is constantly regurgitating the talking points for this hydrogen water dog shit.
Coach, you aren't yourself, but I'm glad you're okay.
I wasn't. But I'm getting there.
H2 Juensen hydrogen water bottle.
You can do it, Lena.
Oh, Coach. Coach, is that you? Oh, no, don't worry about it. You weren't yourself. You weren't drinking H2 Uinshin water. I couldn't expect you to not hit me with your car. Oh my God. Coach, is that... It is... H2 Uinshin. You got it. Oh my God. Coach, you're glowing. You're radiant. I actually feel blessed that you hit me with your car now if it led you to the H2 Uinshin water bottle.
Yeah, this water does magic. My spine is feeling amazing.
Attention, Nina, today to the stage.
She's back on the beam, chasing her dream. Got hit by a car, yeah, it shattered the scene. But clutched in her hand was the H2 Uinshin. Juensen bottled her power with it. She sipped, she healed, now she's flying.
Throughout the rehabilitative process here, the little montage they show, the coach makes it all about herself, like, man, this water's doing amazing stuff for me. As Lena is also healing and like getting back to like 200%. She's like in overdrive mode thanks to the H2 Uinshin. It hasn't just healed her, it's given her extraordinary abilities. But I love how the coach, like after hitting her with the car, is like all about her, like, man, I'm so happy I hit you with my fucking vehicle. Because this H2 Uinshin is making me nuts. Like, I'm going crazy. I've actually de-aged 40 years. And then we get, of course, to the AI montage here. So you can clearly see this is where all the AI comes in. They even have AI Suno here with the song, "Hit by a car, yeah, it shattered the scene." That kind of shit. Like a Saturday morning cartoon intro. And I have to wonder, is this even legal? Something tells me deep in my fucking sack that this is a highly illegal practice of marketing where you are now using AI to demonstrate the capabilities of your product. That's fraudulent. That is misleading advertisement. That has to be illegal, right? You can't just say like, hey, this is my product and this is what it can do, and then use AI to show it doing those things or giving those kind of benefits. You can't mislead consumers like that, especially with how fucking dumb people have become. Someone might see all these backflips and be like, oh my god, I want to do that. I'm gonna go get this fucking H2U Inshin. They'll take a swig from it and realize it's nothing. It's literally nothing. You're still just drinking normal water with no benefit. It's not like it's, you know, Space Jam where you get the special stuff in there, the secret stuff. But the AI in this whole production here is trying to lead you to believe it's something that it's just not. I have to imagine that that is highly frowned upon, if not outright illegal.
She's the one that got hit, right?
Yeah. Heard her coach had her drinking that new recovery water. H2 something.
Whatever it is, it's working.
Honestly, this drink didn't just help me heal. It gave me my coaching fire back, clever mind, way more stamina, and the best sleep ever.
No side effects?
No side effects. It's certified clean, hydrogen rich. Just water leveled up. It's like my body finally started working for me again.
I'll take a case. Whatever she's drinking, I want it.
Samir Bhavnani, you've outdone yourself with this one. This is incredible work. Extraordinary. What a moving tale. I couldn't stop myself from tearing up. And I gotta start infusing those tears with some hydrogen. Really wumbo-fy those tears, if you know what I'm saying. What a piece of shit. What an interesting landscape we're entering now. So now we're going to have full-blown AI Dhar clones that are going to be infesting the site. Very, very peculiar. But yeah, I just had to talk about this a little bit because it's so fucking weird and wacky. And just pretty pathetic, actually. That's really about it. So yeah.